I record.
Man, fuck it. Man, I took all day, man.
Man, what you mean we took all day?
What you got? What you got on?
Hey man, look. But she was saying she felt defeated
Man,
because
Emmitt, you on the phone. You supposed to got game supposed to be on podcast. You messed up the whole beginning.
what you mean? This what I do. This what
Man.
I do, man. What you mean?
Anyways, Leroy, you gonna be sitting over here,
Yeah, I like the blue.
and then Emmitt's gonna be here, and I'm gonna be here.
But she felt defeated because she got the listing.
Action.
I'm in the big leagues, told him don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in the big leagues. Told him that I gotta go, dog. I'm riding the road, y'all. I think that I'm back in my bag now. So I need that go, y'all. Got hits when he throwing the
Well, let me do the intro then. I want to do the intro.
Why the heck are you doing the intro?
So I know what I'm talking about.
You know,
Because I'm not listening if you do the intro.
Man, anyways, man, welcome to Table Mannerz, man. Today, it's your boy, Mr. Right Choice. I got my broker, Emmitt. I got my other broker, Leroy from Miami.
Let's go.
So, you know, today we're going to talk about our other brokerages emulating Combs Realty Group, you know, in today's market and copying our agents. You know, we've been around for a while. We've been making a huge impact. You know, what's your thoughts on that, Emmitt?
Other brokers copying, our brokerages copying Combs-Smith. Absolutely, man. Not only, I mean, it's a lot that's going on, but at the end of the day, you have to understand that it's survival. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, when I started this thing, I got it out the mud. So it's nothing that I have to watch anybody do in order to build or see what roadmap or blueprint is going to be successful for our team or, you know, for the foreseeing future. Because at the end of the day, I'm an investor first. So as an investor, I understand market trends. I understand things change, but I also understand what was good yesterday is not going to be good to tomorrow, or not going to be good for tomorrow. So as people in brokerages, copyists, they're only copying what we was doing before. They're not copying the next play. So we run a real playbook. And so depending on how the weather looking, we might not be able to throw our touchdown passes. We might got to run the ball, run the clock out. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to use analogy because that's what we do. We run plays. But yes, absolutely they copy. They copy the names. They copy the verbiages. They copy our captions. They copy our strategies.
So do you think that it's disrespectful from not from other states? I would say people in our, like even in Miami and also Central Florida. Do you feel that it's disrespectful for another brokerage, basically it's attack, trying to copy and duplicate what we're doing? And like you just mentioned too, you sent the screenshots before. We have seen, you know, other agents say verbatim a post, a caption on our Instagram,
Yeah,
or whatnot, and not to mention, rewind just
that's
back a
what
little
people
bit.
do though, man. They copy us. That you don't have you don't have a true originality anymore. And you know it's been going on forever. Even with books, you know, when you do your real study and research, no books are really written. All books are rewritten. So all they're doing is regurgitating whatever they hear and see because they don't have the creative mind and eyes to see it and create it for themselves. So they go the easiest route. Social media, they follow their favorite broker or brokerages and see what they like, see what they do, and they copy it. But the only disrespectful thing about how they do it is they do it within the same region.
Yeah, and I found out that is real. I think that is disrespectful. And what's your thoughts on that? Because you in Miami, and I know there's competitor brokerages down there that try to emulate what we're doing, or telling their agents that they better not come to us. How do you feel about that?
Uh, well, if you allow yourself to be told not to do something, man, you're not a leader in your own mind. That's what I think. When it comes to copying and things like that, man, I have a peculiar perspective on that. If you copying me, then that means I'm doing something good. So with me, I look for the people who are imitating or copying just to feel a little better about what I'm doing. Now, what I like to do is stay ahead of the curve and want to be a little more creative than the last time I was, thought I was creative or whatever, because you can't stop people from doing it. That's just the nature of the game. In every industry, I believe somebody's copying somebody to get to the top. So I like to use this little, what do you call it, an analogy?
Yeah.
Anything like that. I say, let's take Denzel Washington for an example, right?
Okay.
There was a time where Denzel Washington had to audition for movies or roles or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's disrespectful to ask Denzel Washington to audition for a role right now in today's in his time of today,
Yeah,
right?
you probably correct.
So if you are that Denzel Washington of your industry, you have to basically reach back and not so much because we are all different brokerages and things like that. I don't feel like you should reach back and teach people how to copy you, but you can reach back and encourage people to copy you because you're on the platform where you needed to be great. That's what I think about it. So when I do see people copying anything like that, if they're not with our brokerage, I'm not going to reach out to them and tell them how to copy it. Like you ain't do that right. But I do smile and encourage them to be better because I feel like what I'm doing is great.
So a question on both of you guys, because I know two things that I know people have actually tried to duplicate. So first I'm going to Emmitt. Emmitt, I know for 100% fact, started doing tours first. He started doing home buyer workshops and stuff like that. Do you feel that you paved the way for, I would say, minorities in Central Florida or Florida in general to be more outspoken, get in the front light to educate buyers, doing
I
by home buyer
mean,
workshops?
100%. But you know what? Like I want to say this. When I started out with my mission and vision, it was more so for the impact, right? It was for the impact. So if it encouraged, it paved the way, opened the door, whatever it did, if it overall educates our community in a major way by other people following suit, then I'm all for it. I'm not against anybody following suit when it comes to the education aspect of it because I think our industry needs it, our culture needs it, our home buyer needs it, and what it happens is as you educate our culture, then they become more sophisticated buyers and homeowners, and now we can have a better percentage of home ownership because what that does for us in the future is that it will never even a playing field because we're too much behind the eight ball as a culture, but it helps us gain ground when it comes to overall, even when you go to the listing side and having future business and continue to grow and build, because now you have another generation that comes after this, and then they've experienced home ownership from their parents because of the step that we taking now. So now every generation it should get better and better and better to where the playing field is a whole lot even when we have a whole diversity of cultures that are actual homeowners and passing down wealth. And so it just changes the dynamic. So I'm not against that. I'm not against that whole wave. And yes, I do think we started a wave and opened the door and and shed some light on home ownership. A lot of people use it for the wrong reason. I always use it for the education aspect of it, but to each his own. If they use it for the wrong reason, but it still benefits the end user, then however they receive it, then it's good. At least it sparks the enlightenment for them to ask the right questions, if that's all it leads to.
Okay, no, I respect that. Leroy, you down in Miami, the one thing I know you did start a trend in, I think 2 years ago, and I have seen somebody copy after that, was buying TVs. You was buying 65 inches, 60-inch TVs for all your homeowners. I know, like you said earlier, you mentioned you like to be different. That definitely was different, and you did create a wave that people not really doing as much now, but 2 years ago you created that wave. How do you feel about that? And then I remember you sent us in a text message of, I'm not gonna say his name, of somebody doing that same exact thing.
So when it comes to the TVs, it was a thought that came up with me and Keanu, the other half of the Thompson team. It was like what do we need to do for our buyers? Just to be different, just to attract, not to say for them to send more referrals or anything like that, but like to appreciate them for using us because there was such a big influx of realtors in our area. So we said we need to hype up our customer appreciation. So we said, well, what should we do? Like, I mean, what can we do? I said, okay, well, we get to the closing table, we need to gift them with something. I came up with the 65-inch TV because when we bought our house, that was the first gift that we received, and I remember how it made me feel from one of my godparents who gave us a 65-inch TV. I mean, at that time, that was a pretty big TV. We didn't have those type of TVs at the time, so I say that's the feeling that we got. We were very happy and appreciative of it, and let's start giving people TVs. So what it did was it made a big impact because not so much the TV, it was the box. It was a big box that we put on camera, and to see the emotion for people receiving a 65-inch TV, it expressed to the rest of the world when we put it on camera and onto the social media that these are the people that really appreciate their clients and want to help us out at the end of the closing table. So it wasn't so much about just buying TVs to gain business. It was more so just to appreciate our clientele for trusting in us to get the job done. Now, when it comes to seeing other people buying TVs and doing it, again, it's just like, man, I feel like the TV thing worked to the 10th power because not focusing so much on the people that's copying, but if they are giving their clients TVs, I know that's even more people that's getting that, that one feeling, man, of after they close on their deals or whatever. So at first I kind of like looked at it like, man, dang, man, they couldn't come up with their own little whatever. But at the same time, once I start looking at the positive about it, I'm like, dang, that's okay. If we close 10 deals this month, somebody else closed 10, that's 20 people that got them a TV. So like that's how I like to look at it, man. So and if TVs was the reason we was getting business, then we in the wrong industry. So
No. You can't look at it like that. You can't look at it like that. If TVs is why you was getting business, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what drives a business. The overall end goal is that like you have people who are acquiring assets. Now, what will be a failure would be is that if they're acquiring assets and they're not being responsible with the assets and they're not maintaining it and they're losing it and making other irresponsible, decisions with the assets, that would be a tragedy.
No, what I was getting at was some people in our industry may look at it like, oh shoot, they giving out TVs, that's how they getting all their business. So that's why I made the comment.
But you and I, and we all know that it's a lot going to the process, and whether that's what getting business at the end of the day, that is the end goal for somebody to get the TV. Now, there's a lot that go into getting people approved, finding a house, taking it from contract to closing, that you have to be able to show your expertise and professionalism to make them and allow them to have a good experience, to be able to have that enjoyable moment of receiving the TV. So that can't be a true statement to say if them getting a TV, because if them getting a TV, that shows that you have another win on your record.
No, definitely. I mean, I'm saying everything that you just said is I know wholeheartedly. The TV was just a straight up customer appreciation. But if you on the outside looking in and trying to gain business because you think you can buy somebody a TV and they're just going to continue to get you in the wrong industry.
Got it.
That's not 100%. What it's about. You want to treat people right. You want to do the best by them to get them to the end goal. And that TV is such a surprise to them is because they feel like you've already done more than enough.
The TV definitely works because I did TVs a couple of times, and even my homeboy, I bought him a TV. He was like, man, I bought like 3 homes before. This is the best gift I ever had.
So well, it just complements the house though, because if you think about it, it's like you can go as far as it giving a wash and dryer. They'll appreciate a wash and dryer, refrigerator, TV, because it's always can be used in a house.
Correct.
Period.
That TV, every time you see, you go, oh man, people walk in the house. Man, it's a nice TV. Oh man, my realtor bought that for me.
Right. Think about it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, so it just boils back to customer appreciation. People seen the TVs. People didn't see the other things that we did because it wasn't fit to put on camera. Mm-hmm. It's been times we done painted people whole houses. We done put baseboards throughout the people's house. We done did a lot of stuff that people may have needed, but it wasn't fit to go on camera. So the TVs were just something that we put out there because it was a celebration. Now, for another example, when it comes to your audience, you have to know your audience. There was a time an agent called me and was like, hey, what is that bottle that you gift to all your clients. It was a bottle of Remy Martin. Down in South Florida, in our area, in a lot of our sphere of influence, the people who follow us, that's their choice of drink. You have other agents in other areas. Let's take Orlando for an example, where it's a very diverse city or whatever, man. Like you bring a bottle of Remy Martin to the table, your client might be turned off. Like, what is this? This ain't no expensive
Nah, I'm
whiskey
like,
or
where the
scotch.
cup at?
Yeah, no, straight up
Where the
like
cup
because
at?
So
they don't identify with that type of drink. My clientele, my customers, that people that believe in me, that's what we do.
but you from Miami Gardens though.
I'm from Carroll City.
I knew you was gonna say that. That's why
Yeah,
I said that.
yeah, get it right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so I'm gonna switch it up just a little bit. I know we had a good, y'all both had the same answers on both, as in y'all looked at it as in yes, and people may be copying, but at the end of the day, y'all both said you applaud for the education standpoint, and you also applaud that you see other agents helping their buyers win by having a good, good product at the end. So, basically, we inspired. So, moving forward, talk about our brokerage. We've been doing real good. In today's market and, with us, how do you see us continue to move forward, keeping our foot on the pedal, in this tough market? Being a minority company, especially in Central Florida, we're probably I'm pretty sure we're the largest. I'm not so sure. I'm not sure about Miami, but we're making an impact in Miami. How do you feel about that? I mean, what do you see? Where do you see us in the next 5 years?
Ah man, being a major influencer, a major impactor, a major contributor to the real estate industry. See, we're at the forefront. I believe that we're at the forefront of a lot of things that's on the ground level when it comes to real estate, meaning knowing and understanding the market, knowing how to make the right pivots within the market, depending on what the market gives us, being able to educate the team and knowing which way we should start educating ourselves to be able to direct our clientele in that the right direction as well. And so in the next 5 years, man, I think the broker is going to be a lot different than what you've seen and what we've done in the past. But with the pivot that we're making, you'll be able to physically see that we're a very diverse company in our approach, in our delivery, and also in our results. Because results going to be the same, but how we get the results is going to be different. One thing we don't do is we don't pay for leads, we don't buy leads or any of that other stuff. We are a generator of our business because we're a contributor of value. And anytime you're contributing value, you can always generate business organically. And so that's what we are. We are organic business driven.
All right. So I like one thing you just said. I know I talked to Tahada about the other day. Key thing I took out was basically, we generate our own leads. How powerful are you? I know you ain't been in no other brokers, but how powerful are you that at today's market that all your buyers that you actually generated yourself by the marketing that you did, that you put out, and you didn't have to buy anything? Because normally when you buy, people don't know who you are. And I think 9 times out of 10, the more people you buy, you don't get the referrals. And I think in today's market, the ones that's successful right now are the ones that have built that pipeline up and catered to that pipeline to now that we don't have to fish. We're receiving the leads that we need to take care of our database. Do you think the way that we have self-generated through all the years have made, the ones at the top continue to stay at the top, especially in this market?
Yes. In the next 5 years, and I would say this because of the growth. So yes, I wasn't never been to another real estate brokerage before, so everybody know the story. From the beginning of this company, the way that it's growing, in the next 5 years, I can see that we can double, but be more solid because of what we're doing as of now. As of now, we're creating more solid leaders within the company. More solid leaders will generate more solid followers. You see what I'm
Correct.
saying? So, and eventually, if that keeps going like that, the company will expand with a more solid core. We can weave out a lot of the agents that just say this brokerage is not for them, but we'll have much more agents that fit with this brokerage, which is going to allow this brokerage to grow in doubles or triples. So
Yeah.
that's how I feel like, as long as we stay true to ourselves, that the company will keep progressing in a positive manner, and where we are just who knows? And this is the industry where the sky's the limit. So
This guy is a
you correct too. I know Emmitt has learned. We all have learned. You want everybody, to be with us. You want everybody to work with us.
Everybody don't fit, man.
But realistically,
model.
championship teams, NFL, NBA, you put pieces together. You think that fit in that puzzle, but sometimes it doesn't fit perfectly. And what I have learned, with these last couple of years, sometimes we think that we have a good piece, and we get upset. But sometimes you got to sit back and just really reflect that, what, our system is meant for a certain type of caliber of people that can expand and develop their internal self so they can be very productive, because you have strong leaders. By having strong leaders, you have to be willing to learn from the strong leaders and sometimes put your pride to the side, because sometimes them leaders see more in you that you don't see. And I think that's what our brokers have.
So and just what you're saying is correct. So to grow, you have to learn.
Correct.
So what I've seen from the beginning is, and where we're growing out of, like very lightly, is the passion and love for each individual. It's not that we don't love everybody who's on the company, but we don't put that real heart into it, because honestly, people do have the right to go where they want to go. So that's where the pain came in, that when we pour so much into people, fall in love with them, and make them friends, make them family, and then they decide to go somewhere else. It shouldn't be no hard feelings behind that, because
no, the love is lost. The love is lost. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the love is lost when we see people who we poured so much into go somewhere else and then actually start implementing what we poured into them
now that
at a different location when they would not do it here. So that's when the love get lost.
Let me rewind back there for the beginning. When I said disrespectful, now I ain't gonna lie. That is disrespectful, and
but not to cut you off. But that comes with life. You know what I'm saying? Like, as you grow, you realize people don't have the same love for you that you have for them. So when you're a passionate person and you're a genuine person, you're gonna go through that all the time. So what we have to do to learn to grow is learn how to deal with that type of basically, if you want to call it disrespect. I don't find it disrespectful. I look at the reality of it. You decided to go somewhere else, have a good life. But if you took,
that's how I look at it too.
If you took what you learned here somewhere else and progressed, there's nothing I could do about that. But I find it disrespectful if you just start, talking bad.
I see it a little disrespectful, because I've been at other brokerages, and what we offer, they don't offer what we got. So we do all these.
But we do. That's you. Everybody have not been to all the other brokers to be able to experience and know what they do and don't get. So I don't judge people for leaving and going or wherever they want to go and to further their careers. I don't. Because our system and how we operate, it doesn't work for everybody. Some people like to be spoon fed, and I don't have no spoons to feed people.
You just spoon feed my cousin.
Hey, he got some kibbles and bits that fell off the table. I'm just saying. Some people want to be spoon fed. I don't spoon feed. We are all grown people, and this is the part that I think we get a disconnect from. We are all entrepreneurs in this business. Yes. I don't care if I am the broker. We are all entrepreneurs in this business. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I didn't beg nobody to go and get their real estate license and say that I want you to be an entrepreneur. Anybody that I have done that to, encourage them to, they've done well because I made sure they done well. But outside of that, nobody else have I ever encouraged you to go get your license and come and be an entrepreneur. And then you want me to spoon. So to that point, you made your own conscious effort to step into the entrepreneur world. And now you want to come into the world and ask for handouts. I'm not required to give you no handouts. You're a grown man. You're a grown woman.
Correct.
You have to wake up and you have to go out and feed your own family. Now, if I'm giving you the tools and resources to go and feed your family, you do nothing with it, then you can't blame me. You have to blame yourself. People need to start taking the initiative to look into the mirror and be responsible for their own results, their own journey, their own path, and stop trying to hold other people accountable for their loss, for their lack of effort, for their lack of commitment, for their lack of showing up. Because I show up every single day. And don't nobody gotta ask me if I'm up. If it's been times on the training calls, I'm the only one on the training calls.
Why Emmitt like
And I
Brandon Marshall?
still do, and I still do the calls, whether people own it or not. Because you know what? I don't give them an opportunity to make up an excuse for not showing up. Because I still show up, regardless. And honestly, I don't have to show up. But I still show up because I let them know how important showing up and showing commitment and creating a habit. And habit allows you to become a master at what you do.
Well, I think all that's correct. We all are entrepreneurs. I think the problem is that I see we make real estate look easy and glamorous. And so when they come into the real world,
I think it's all fun and games.
thank you. And that's when it comes into that we're all entrepreneurs. And like you just said, you need to do things in order to start doing them glitz and glamours. They think they just come in
and they want to skip the process.
It doesn't work like that.
The process. You know what I'm saying? Like I, for one, like I don't mind doing the dirty work. I never ask anybody to do something that I've never done, won't do, and still would do if necessary. At the end of the day, like people have to realize and truly understand is that you cannot skip the process. Just like buyers can't skip the process, you can't just wake up and say, I want to be a buyer and go close on your house tomorrow. No, you got to get your finances in order. You got to file your tax. You got to go and save up your money. You got to go get pre-approved. You got to find a house, put an offer on it. You got to get approved and accepted. Then you got to go do your inspection. You got to get the appraisal. Everything, all the stars has the line in order for you to get your keys. Same thing goes with real estate. You cannot skip the process. You cannot come into real estate and expect to be a top producer when you never learn how to write up a contract. You never learn how to do a listing presentation. You never learn how to understand an inspection. You never learn how to do CMAs and the comps. You never learn how to farm. You never learn how to learn scripts. Regardless of where you are and how much money how much money you have when you get started, what your career background is, you cannot skip the process. Now you can pick a niche, all right, and your niche may be I only want to deal with listings in this particular area, and you may not have to worry about buyers consultation, but at some point you will, because when you get your sellers at some point going to be an end user buyer, and therefore you're gonna have to learn how to help them, or you're gonna have to refer them off, or you're gonna have to create a team and have somebody else to learn the buying side, or vice versa. But regardless of what, no matter which niche you create for yourself, you got to learn the process. There's no skipping. There's no skipping the process. And that's where a lot of agents come in here. They only want to make the money. They don't understand the details and the intricate education that goes behind every single agent to go out here and get to that closing table and show that soul sign. You are changing lives. You are not just out here getting a commission check. You're changing lives.
But some people be trying to count the dollars.
Yeah, and the ones that count the dollars don't last, because the dollars don't last if you don't learn the process of how to make this stuff not just a hustle, but when you make it a consistent, like everyday rhythm and routine. Because if you count your dollars, you can make a lot of money, but at the same time, when you start making the money, you start getting distracted from the impact that you're making and the value that's being added.
Correct.
And then you start losing what you really got into this business to do. And if you got into this business to make money, you can make the money, but you won't last because the money gonna run out.
Integrity. A lot of people don't have it. That's just it. Like, I mean, I say the word integrity because if you listen to any of the so-called titans in this industry, one thing they always say that this industry is not for everybody.
No, it's not.
So when people can't realize that it's nobody's fault but themselves, those are the people that's lacking the integrity and don't understand that they will never make it in this business.
It's a lot of different things that I try to teach the basic principles when it comes to new agents, so they at least have the foundation to be successful. And a lot of it deals with ethics, deals with accountability and systems. So I always ask questions about people like, what's your system? Like if you don't have a routine far as getting yourself mentally prepared. Because, when you're dealing with a lot of people, what's consistently dealing with a lot of people is a lot of negative beat down. And I call it your emotional bank account. There's a lot of there's a lot of withdrawals being taken every single day when you go out here in this real estate world. So if you're not taking the time to understand that your well-being is important in order for you to stay consistent, and you have to make those emotional deposits every single day and understand this is the energy. This is that good energy. When we talking about vibing on different frequencies, this is that good energy that we're talking about in order for you to outlast. Because no matter what, I like to use the pendulum analogy because like the pendulum is very important. You know, if you understand what that pendulum looks like when it start moving, you understand that like you start get favor in your direction when you're dealing with business. You know, you start to get a momentum, and then you start seeing doors opening up, things start clearing out, and then you can have a wave of deals that start going sour. But as soon as you allow that pendulum to stop moving, that's when business get hard, because it's hard to get a 10,000-pound car. It's hard to get that car moving from zero. But if you keep the speed, you keep it at 5 to 10 miles per hour pushing, guess what? That momentum keep that thing moving. And that's how you got to look at your real estate career. So sometimes people miss the opportunity to keep that pendulum swinging because they're focused on the money, and they'll rather let a deal die, right? They'll let a deal die and let their pride get in the way. Then look at the overall concept of keeping the pendulum swinging, allowing your value to be added, allowing somebody, the end user, to win, and allowing you to continue to keep that pendulum and momentum going by keeping the deals closing, keep adding value to people where they may not be able to give you the return right away, but it still keeps your momentum going for you to receive referrals in the future, for you to just, stay open to receive. And a lot of people don't understand that concept, and they allow it to die because they allow their emotions, their ego, and everything to get in the way, their pride to get in the way, and they allow the money to get in the way. Sometimes you got to give a little to receive more. And so I've learned that long ago. It's been times where I've given up money while, I didn't go after a seller, while I didn't go after the buyer, but I allowed good karma to last and the pendulum to keep swinging, and therefore the momentum keep going, because you're not going to have good days all the time. Deals going to fall through. You're going to have rough times, but it's when you have your systems and you stay consistent with your systems every single day, guess what? Times get good. It's like a roller coaster. It goes up and down, up and down. But as long as you stay consistent with your system, now when it goes up, you ride the wave. But when it goes down, you stick to your systems, even though things are not, you have some things that fall apart, but you got to foresee what's happening. So therefore you don't vacation too long.
So riding the wave, before we end it, but riding the wave, I would say we definitely rode the wave during COVID, when all the brokers just stopped doing production, every single thing.
Rolling.
We kept rolling. I think we had that's what we got to 90 million.
Absolutely.
We had a great year that year.
We've been doubling year over year. It don't matter. COVID could come and go, man. We're going to keep doubling even after that. It don't matter.
I believe you got to ride the wave. And when you ride that wave, you stack up during that wave, because when, you have the downtime, that's when you need to, sit back, reflect on, when you're going through that wave, sometimes, you're going so fast. Sometimes you may forget some little steps or intricate parts during that time. But when it slows down, that's when you get I think you go back and get your foundation and remember, next time when I get on that wave, I add this part to that wave so I can continue to go forward. And that's the thing with the brokers, we had 100 agents, we went down, we went back up. It's basically just a wave. And I think with all of us, I think we finally have learned that we have a certain kind of brokerage that's meant for certain kind of people that want to thrive in it. And so now I think that we have learned that by going through this roller coaster. We hit that peak fast.
Well, I also think too that as we continue to peak, right, it also shows some weaknesses in our brokerage that other brokerages was able to take advantage of. Correct. When I say weaknesses, meaning that when you have other brokerages that, they understand that we train agents. We do train agents. We have true education. All right. And then they see, I call it low hanging fruit. Agents that look desperate, agents that are looking for, a handout. Mm-hmm. And they'll come in and they know how to feed people, the fake news. They know how to make that fake news look good. They know how to, feed them, give them whatever they need in order to try to build momentum and try to infiltrate your system and be able to give people. So it's just like what other brokerages do when they come in and offer your top agent money to come over to their brokers. I mean, that's what they do, right? So it's not that they're offering anything better. It's just that they know how to come in. If you have a system like, man, if we can get one of those agents to come over, we know that they're a tight-knit family. We know that they can get 3 or 4 other friends that they've established a good network and bring them over. We don't have to train them. They've already been trained. All we got to do is give them a couple free leads and help them build a momentum. And then they come in and infiltrate our system that way. But I call that low-hanging fruit because they find people who are looking for handouts. They find people who are looking for handouts, and they haven't been fully committed to our system. And so what we have done to sort of change that, we've made an adjustment to where we sort of don't allow any low-hanging fruit, because we've put things in place now to educate people daily.
Very fast.
We're not allowing for any low-hanging fruit. We're educating them daily. We're meeting with them every morning, and we're making sure we hold them accountable for things we have in place.
So what do you think about that too, Leroy, since you're in Miami?
So, I mean, as y'all know, beginning of 2022, we kind of restructured things down in Miami. Like, we took away that whole sense of the brokers do this for you, do that for you. Everybody in Miami know that it's accountability. You're accountable for your own business. What we put in place is more entertainment to the camaraderie, to bring each other together, to have, fun during the down times where everybody can feel like they're a part of something, and just stay connected and educated. But when it comes to come, I want to do this video for you. I want to write up this contract for you. I want to do this. No, everybody's accountable for their own thing. Yes, we have people in place, myself included, to help. Everybody's going to help each other, but there's no more fingers to be pointed at nobody other than yourself down there in Miami.
I think that's across the board, man. There's no fingers to be pointed at anybody, because at the end of the day, everybody got to wake up and you got to carry your own load, And now that we truly understand, like,
it's across the board. It's been across the board, but it's a lot of stuff that we implemented in the past to the agents, myself included, that people misconstrued, or they got a misunderstanding of it. Just for example, hey man, listen, you'll do better in your business if you was a full-time agent. All they heard was quit your job. They didn't listen to all the other. Yeah, they didn't listen to everything.
Get desperate.
So when they quit their job, now it looks like, Emmitt or Leroy told me I need to go a full-time agent, and stuff not prospering. That's because all you heard was quit your job. You didn't hear everything else, all the consistency and the groundwork that it takes to build your business up. So that's what we're taking away. Hey, don't ask me, do you need to quit your job? What do you think you need to do? What's getting in your way? If you quit your job, that's on you. And that still falls back to the entrepreneur, regardless of what. Like, only you know your financial temperament when you coming into this business as an entrepreneur. Only you know how much money you have in savings. Only you know what your bad spending habits are and what your savings account looks like. Only you know that.
Correct. So
we can give you advice as far as, look, successful agents are full-time, period. Mm-hmm. If you are part-time, I always advise you to team up with another agent who are full-time. Learn something or create a niche where you can generate leads consistently, implementing the strategies that we're teaching. And as you're starting to see success with that and growth with that, and now you may make some of the money by referring it off and learning through the process. But once you get consistently referring that money off, now you can look at whatever you referred off and paid in referral fees as lost income. Mm-hmm. Now you know how much money you're losing on a regular basis by referring deals off and continue to work your day job. Now, if the money that you're losing can replace the income that you're making from your day job, now you understand where your value needs to be readjusted and reassessed based on where you spend your time. But until you get to that point, you got to show commitment to yourself. You got to show up every day. If you can't time block and find 1 hour a day to lead generate, to prospect, to learn, or be presenting the 4 elements of building a business, then you're not ready for entrepreneurship.
That's a lot of realtors.
Hey,
a lot of people, they just gonna hear parts. There's a lot of people gonna look at this video and take what they want from it.
Quit their job.
They quit their job. Some of them might be mad at me, but you know what? At the end of the day,
you just told them to quit their job.
No, I'm just saying they're gonna look at this video. They're gonna take parts of what they're gonna hear something, and they're gonna cut it off, and they're gonna ride the rest of their life off that one thing that they heard, because that's just how people operate. So
facts. But you know what? Listen, this is the way I look at it, and like I explained it on the calls. My time is valuable. So when I speak to people, I speak from a place of passion. I speak from a place that, look, my words are numbered with dollars. And as I give you free, as I give you free game, it's up to you how you make that deposit. You can sit the check on the table and never cash, and guess what? That check expires. But I know I'm giving you $1 million worth of game, whether you know how to deposit or not. And so for all the agents that ever came and asked and looking for a handout on what we have to give, I say this: until you can pull up to the bank like I did today, and the bank teller tell me to leave it on the desk and he'll take care of it, I'm not giving you no money to go to deposit because you don't know how to deposit my checks. Period.
Are you a rapper now?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like when we generate business, it's like cash money in the bank. So why would I give cash money, you know what I'm saying, to somebody who don't know how to deposit checks? I'm not doing that. Like I'm sorry. We might be a big company or we may be a larger brokerage and smaller brokerage and whatnot. But if you know me, you know we're building. And I'm not giving away nothing. I don't care how much money I make, I pay myself the same. So therefore, every check matters.
Correct.
All right, and I like to use this analogy. If there's people making $1 million a day, and you're trying to figure out how you can make, $1,000 this month, we speak in a different language. We're speaking a different language, and until you can understand that language, then honestly, you should be privileged by having this conversation with me because you are not ready for the conversation that I'm having with you.
Well, you're around different people too. $1 million a day.
And that's what we're trying to we're trying to evolve to and grow to. But it's like the cousin, the rich cousin, who trying to build an empire, but the whole family keep asking for handouts. You know what I'm saying? Keep want you to give them stuff so they can do irresponsible stuff with it. Nah, man, we building an empire over here. I don't have stuff to give away. We're building something that you probably would never be able to touch.
But to not go away from that, just using that $1 million analogy, how many people that's making $1 million a day spending their time with people that's trying to make $1,000 a day?
Hey,
nah, we deal with that with bars. You selling
I'm just saying, if you have a person that's using the $1 million analogy, making $1 million a day, but they don't mind spending their time with people who are trying to make $1,000 a day. That's the big difference when it comes to other brokerages.
100%.
Oh, I got what you're saying. Good analogy.
100%. And that's what I'm trying to get to. We're not making $1 million a day, but doggone it, that's what we shooting for. We shooting for $1 million a day. We still shooting for $1 million a month. But regardless of what, I'm not finna set my goal at $1,000 a month just because I have people who want to have a conversation about $1,000 a month. That's not my conversation. But if I'm having $1 million a month conversation with you and I allow you to be in this room and I allow you my time, then you need to honor that time. You need to be You need to reciprocate what's being given and learn how to manage money, deposit money, to manage the conversations, the education tools and resources. Reach out and understand that, look, we have a different dialect of language that we're speaking right now. And if I'm giving you $1 million worth of game, then you have to understand if your goal was only 1,000, then we on different frequency levels. Yeah. But as respectful as I am, I see the potential in you, and I'll sit and I'll have the conversation with you. But only in increments. I'm not gonna allow you to pick my brain to death, but I'm not too far ahead of you because I were where you were a couple years ago. So I am willing to reach back, but you have to understand I'm focused on moving forward and pulling us forward.
So they need to be on your levels.
Hey man, you got it. Regardless of what, we moving forward. We moving forward, man. Regardless, we moving forward.
Well, I know it's long. How long it's been?
They don't say on this one, but
well, no man, it's been a long time anyway. I know you pressed the extra record button. But anyways, you guys, hope you guys enjoyed this show. We out. Comes from here.
Hey man, look, we out, man. It's Table Mannerz.